It's time to pick a side.
Overwatch. Play it now on PC and console.
My favorite character is Greymane, obviously. Because Greymane is one of the most fun heroes to play. He brings a lot of playmaking ability, and he also just has everything I want out of a character. He has wave clear, burst damage, poke damage. Yeah, you can just go really hard with him. You can also sit back and just play the range game, and yeah, he just basically has everything, so it's a lot of fun. How do I draw a wolf? Yeah. Do I have to draw a wolf?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, my painting skills are just as good as my Greymane skills. I'm not sure what I planned, because I put the face on the arms and then there's no body. But, obviously it's a wolf, so... Beautiful. This is an absolute masterpiece. I'm so happy with this.
Of course, if you'd like to call Quacknix for children's parties, you can get that number at www.heroesofthestorm.com/esports. However, I suggest you don't, because he was rubbish at painting. For now, though, we have the age-old question of EU going up against North America here, and it's the first time for the mid-season brawl to start things off. Fnatic is going to be going up against Roll20, and here at the desk, I'm absolutely outnumbered by Americans. We have Gillyweed, we have J-How, we have Dread. How on earth did this happen to me?
Well, I took your belt, so...
You like to think so, but I don't.
Now we're taking your desk.
Oh.
Or your concave.
Your concave.
Concave.
It's the concave.
So EU, the concave, yeah. But I'm glad now that we
Why
have
isn't it the council?
exactly.
Ooh.
You know, now that is North American flooded, and it in fact is the Analysis Council. Welcome very much to it, ladies and gentlemen. And, let's worry about getting it going now. Welcome to Council.
Thanks.
Look on his face. Where's my job?
Let's get to it.
Okay.
All right. I feel abused. We're going to have Fnatic going up against Roll20 here to begin things off. And what a match. Realistically, what a match that we have here. Roll20 have proven that they've been able to step up. We have Fnatic, who has come in with huge expectations on their back. This is going to be great, Gilly.
You know what I am really excited about for this match is not only is it the first instance of EU versus NA at the mid-season brawl, but these teams are fairly similar in what they've shown so far. Mostly meta with some of their own stylized flair. A Samuro for Fnatic. And then we've got the Medivh of Roll20, but things like double Genji players so that they can have the Abathur Genji. A lot of love for Greymane too. They're similar in their favorite kinds of drafts.
I very much agree with that. I think that's going to be an awesome, talking point, especially to the drafts themselves. It's just, it still is. I'm pretty sold after that last performance by Templestorm that Roll20 is the strongest representative at this tournament for the North American scene. It's just, do they have the power, even if they get their comforts, to take out a monster that is Fnatic?
One of the things that interests me is where the maps are going to go, because overall, that could be a huge defining factor. But J-How, let's talk about Roll20 to start things off, of course. That is Glaurung himself, one of the main figureheads here of Roll20 esports. What can you tell me about them?
Well, Roll20 definitely revolves around Glaurung and what Glaurung's going to be playing. And Buds, there's the man who's switched roles over to support. So it's kind of like, what does Glaurung want to play? What do teams want to deal with, right? And so similarly, both these teams have, I guess, favorite maps in which they excel really well on. So it could come down to a test of will. And Justine on the front line has just, he leads the charge with Glaurung at command, and it looks amazing.
I think he leads the charge quite literally sometimes. It's a good way to describe it. He's one of the standout players for me, is Justin. He's risen in skill, popularity over the past year or so, I would say.
I mean, he flat out is, if he is not the #1 warrior in North America, he is definitely tied for it with Fury.
Yeah.
He is risen, it seemed like almost out of nowhere in North America, because a lot of people fail to appreciate that this guy has been in NA and in the competitive scene for actually a long while, but it wasn't until Team 8 that he had this phenomenal breakthrough performance, and now it looks like he's a world-class warrior to a certain extent. It's amazing to see that from him. We've seen a lot of good plays from Prismaticism as well throughout these couple of days, though, no?
Yeah, Prismaticism, for me, is such a cool story for Team 8 specifically, or Roll20 esports, as they're now called, specifically because he used to have such land jitters that I remember his first tournament, he was sick. He was so nervous. And then to go to there, and then at the Western Clash, the first time I saw him give a little eyebrow raise to the camera, I was like, he feels comfortable now. He's getting there. He's feeling it. And since then has been making plays, especially on Genji or the Genji clone. Well,
of course, on the other side, let's talk about one of the big favorites that a lot of people see for the entire tournament itself currently, as it is Fnatic. There is Quinix again. Well, I'll steal what J-House said, basically leading the charge for the team. What can you tell me about Fnatic, guys?
I mean, other than this roster just seems extremely well-rounded. I think that is, you know, what I attribute a lot of their success to. There doesn't seem to be a breaking point. And, you know, we have looked at Heroes of the Storm throughout history. It does seem like the teams that are the most successful are the one that their weakest link is the closest to relative power of everyone else. And Fnatic just seems every player is rock solid.
And the thing about it is that I feel this team has evolved in a lot of ways, is that they used to be more reserved. Their numbers don't pop out at you, but the way that they've been playing lately, from watching their scrims to watching this, they have a very different approach to the early game. We see a lot different aggression. They're looking for those early picks. They are punishing teams and pretty decisively, right? So it's like they changed their approach, and they're so good at it that teams right now, I mean, they got you dancing in your seat like Smexy.
That was unexpected. Normally it's another direction he goes, which is just the straight stare, but that was wrapping out. That was all right.
Yeah. Switching things up. I mean, he's been on camera so much, he's got to have different tactics for once he gets on camera for a solo moment.
Absolutely.
Rapping out by snapping.
Rapping out by snapping out, I guess. I don't know what I just said. That's weird. I am not a rapper. Absolutely not. he'll testify to that one. So, of course, do make sure to vote in chat as to who you think is going to win here. I think this one's going to be very close in the votes for sure as we continue down the line. It's our first encounter between North America and Europe. So, I think in just a few moments' time, we're going to find out what our maps are. And then from there, that's going to tell us a lot. Oh boy. And it will be Infernal Shrines and then Battlefield of Eternity that Fnatic picked. And we saw that infamous by now at least, Samuro from that first day.
I thought of two maps, and two maps specifically when I said they have similar map strengths. These are the two maps that I would pick.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say
these
two maps. And the coolest thing is the best map for both these teams is Infernal Shrines. The second best map for both of these teams is Battlefield of Eternity. So it is legitimately not like this staggered statistical difference. It is just both teams going, let's fight, dude. It is so awesome to see this.
This is a true Octagon moment here as we get into the draft. These two going up against one another. Let's get into it. Game number one.
So I think one of the important things to note here is I believe that Fnatic at this first part, their ban, they're going to ban out whatever they think, and that's what I believed it would be, Medivh, whatever they think that is the only way that Roll20 can even conceivably beat them. If there are any just so strong heroes for Roll20 that they can take them out with that. They believe it's the Medivh. They saw that Roll20 can beat nearly anyone with Medivh. From that, though, I think Roll20 will still get a lot of the picks they like. It's just whether they can execute at Fnatic's level.
And the Dahaka ban, he has been a very successful hero here whenever he's in the battlefield, one of the higher win rates heroes that we've gotten throughout this entire tournament. And with that ban, Fnatic now has the question, is it the Genji, is it the Greymane? It's Infernal Shrines. Both of these teams absolutely love Greymane, but Genji has been so influential in this meta. Even, you know, with the Uther is something we have to be considering at this point, that it's made it through this draft.
The Uther part, it lends to, you don't expect the other team to take Genji and Greymane. And both those heroes are Glaurung heroes if you're on the side of Roll20. So if you go Uther, Uther also counters both of those heroes and does well objectively to enable anybody you want to pick behind that. So you could almost fall back on either one of those heroes just by picking up Uther first.
Yeah, and that's why I even tweeted earlier today, I genuinely think that Uther and Tyrael are going to climb colossally into this tournament as it moves on. Mainly because not necessarily that their power individually is better than every other hero in the game, but they are so good with so many things that are very, very relevant into this tournament that they will suddenly become more valuable than the problems themselves, like the Greymanes, like the Genjis.
The Haka ban is interesting from Roll20. That's been one of their biggest picks for them. So it makes me wonder if we're going to see what would be normally their next favorite from that role, and that's Leoric earlier on.
I think one thing's probably fair to say is that Fnatic is a very studying team of other teams for sure, and considering what you just mentioned, this is going to be a very eye-opening draft, I feel, for Roll20 to see how they're going to try and take on some of the big names out there when they don't have that Medivh Diablo.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a beautiful start, though, for Roll20. They have a new Barak, who has been a just huge powerhouse at the front line, and then the Genji for these resets. Right now, both of these teams have a little bit of research, very heavy comforts, but it's just generic on what we see so far. They are just the objectively most powerful heroes in the tournament so far, and it's that aggression, that offense. So what I want to see right now is a Tyrael. I talked about it. Tyrael Greymane is a great start, and it could force an Abathur ban later out onto the side of Roll20 if they go there. But I agree, the Greymane's phenomenal, but I think the Tyrael is an absolute must.
I almost wonder, you know, you talked about Leoric for Roll20. It's also the same thing for Fnatic. It's weird that you think, when you try and prioritize heroes of, who do we go? There's the Greymane. Will they opt for Tyrael? I really wonder if Tyrael, it fits into what they want to do. The Tyrael has consistently been played by Wubby, and so you could still go into a playmaking style warrior for Breeze, but they're going Li Ming.
They could always ban Tyrael if they don't want to deal with
That's
it.
True.
If they don't want to give that to Roll20. Has Roll20 shown their Tyrael?
I don't actually know. I can look into
look at this, yeah.
I don't believe so.
I have to ask, though, Li Ming on Infernal Shrines into a new Barak.
Yes, yeah.
That's a very bold statement from Fnatic if they feel like it's going to work.
I actually think it's looking to bait a specific ban, mainly onto a Zeratul or something that they're looking to enable the initiation into the double reset, opening onto the fights. Yeah, again, it isn't necessarily what we consider the greatest map for Li Ming, and Li Ming has also had questionable power internationally, especially within Europe. You know, she was almost ignored for a long period of time, but a spike back here, Fnatic is going to address it and go with it. I think it's a risk, and it's the sacrifice onto the Tyrael, I think, was one as well.
Baiting out the Varian ban is something that can happen as well, because Li Ming Varian in those fights off Shrines is very, very strong, and Shrimpy on Li Ming is extremely comfortable, so a comfort pick,
It's a definite comfort for Shwimpy. They have a lot of comforts so far in their first 3 picks. What do they feel like they need to ban versus Roll20 if they want to take away invulnerability for Genji? A possible Tyrael ban here. Justin did play it once so far this tournament. Are they still scared of Diablo because it is Infernal Shrines? It's a better warrior on there, although won't have the combo with Medivh. Do they think that it's possible Roll20 still want to play that there?
I would feel more comfortable taking away the Tyrael. We saw Tyrael Abathur, and the only way that worked was with Tyrael for Genji to dive in. They're looking at Abathur instead. That still gets rid of the double Genji clone, but it does now give the possibility of Tyrael. Tyrael, though, is normally Justin playing that generally in a solo warrior role outside of like Tahaka or Leoric. So a Nubarek there makes me think that's Justin's hero. So I haven't really seen anybody else play the Tyrael.
Yoda has played a new Barak, I think once or twice. So there's a possibility that if they felt they needed to take Tyrael here, that they could flex that way.
Is this your Leoric round? Because one of these teams is getting Leoric at this point.
See, I really still, I totally agree with you, because Roll20, if they're not playing Dahaka, that does seem to be the next go-to pick for them for their second warrior. But the fact that we don't see it super fast, I don't know. There's also still Malfurion on the board. They want that versus Uther with something like Guardian of Ancient Kings. I know that Buds loves his Rhaegar as a possible addition of Shrine Clear too.
Either way. Sorry, I've been sitting here just completely dumbfounded by this draft so far. It's going to remain generic with the powerhouses here. Roll20 going into the Tyrael in the mouth, just trying to figure out what direction they were going to go with that last pick. I did expect the Tyrael there. I think it's safe for everybody to expect the Malfurion to show up there. for Roll20, but what do they end this with? Where is Fnatic moving? Because that Li Ming rotation and then into the Abathur ban. I understand the Abathur ban, but picking the Li Ming, then banning the Abathur did seem confusing, knowing it's going to be forfeiting over that Tyrael. So I really want to see some form of justification for what I would consider a slightly awkward
What is that phase?
secondary ban phase.
I mean, you were mentioning the Leoric that could come in, and then just a second warrior to round out. For a double warrior, Wobby goes onto the Leoric. What do you think?
Leoric or Zeratul at this point?
Zeratul is huge. I would put Zeratul miles above Leoric, just because Leoric, yes, he is amazing for the side soak, for the 1-2, especially with the Royal Focus build that we saw coming out of Wobby, but I love Tyrael into Leoric's into the 1v1 matchups. It's just whether or not that side-soaking two-lane matchup is actually more impact.
Hey.
It's a Leo behind it. Oh, no, it is going to be the Zeratul.
Oh.
Double reset, full APOC wombo combo.
That's scary.
Yeah, so now Roll20 needs another counter momentum measure that can hopefully isolate and survive itself outside of the void. Does that even exist left into this draft? Like Gust is going to be one of those tools.
You're picking Falstad into Zeratul.
Yeah, Falstad's flat dead. I don't think it exists left. Every version that can actually deter that is vulnerable to the Zeratul Lehman Greymane.
The key moment will be if you force Sank first, then you can VP into APOC.
There's always that game of chicken. Yeah.
It's such a, in one time. All it takes is one time for it to go that way.
That's an interesting draft to start this series off.
I would have liked, this may sound a little bit weird when it comes to the last pick there into the Tychus. The Tychus, what that will do is if they win the Shrines, it can open up the map a little bit earlier. You got the Odin, it helps the Siege.
Yep.
But at this point, we already had seen so much committed on the side of Fnatic into addressing teamfight on teamfight. Going blow for blow, I would have loved a Kerrigan. It provides really heavy early Shrine control. They've got a full Death Ball composition, and it's not like any part of Fnatic is going to retreat from that. Granted, you are vulnerable with another melee into the Zeratul. It's intimidating, but I think some Shrine control and some counter pressure with their comp would have been really cool.
Gilly, your thoughts on the draft?
Team 8 does not play Tychus a lot. I keep calling him Team 8. Roll20 doesn't play Tychus a lot. They used to play it quite a bit, but have been 0-3 with the hero so far in Part 2. It's not a common one. It makes me feel like they already were rattled by the draft and where it took a turn for Fnatic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you then for your prediction, and then we'll go down all the way.
Well, because of all those things I mentioned, and I think that Fnatic is a favorite now to win the tournament, got to vote for Fnatic here.
Okay.
I put me in the same boat. I just think that Fnatic, they're too strong right now. We'll row our way through here. They're going to roll past Roll20 in game number 1. I'm going with Fnatic.
I mean, you know, it's on both of these teams' best maps. Both teams roughly got what they wanted in the draft, and I assume that Fnatic is by far the better team, so there was not enough for me to argue for Roll20. I'm going for Fnatic.
Council of the Storm, very much so in the camp of Europe here. Interesting. All right, well, let's check out what you guys think at home as well with the hashtags. 70-30. A lot of people reliant on the fact that Fnatic looking pretty darn good right now here for the mid-season brawl. It's almost time now for game number 1 as we're going to head over to our casting team. Can Roll20 get past the dragon that is Fnatic?
That moment when 3 NA casters on the panel vote for the European team.
Yeah, it was a bit different. Didn't see that coming. But hey, we got us up here, man. Fnatic versus Roll20. And this is probably the most exciting match of the day for me in particular, man. I want to see if Roll20, who's brought the spice to the tournament, can they handle Fnatic?
This is going to be awesome. Europe versus North America. And to the left side of the map on Infernal Shrines, we have Breeze on Diablo, the Terror himself. Quacknix on Greymane. Smexy for the heals on Uther. We see Wobby on Zeratul. And Li Ming, played by Shrimpy.
Representing North America, Roll20 in the red on the far right. Justin will be on a new Barak, Larung on Genji, Yoda playing Tyrael, Buds on Malfurion, and Prismat will be on Tychus. Let's see this new Tychus pulling out from Roll20 here, man. Got something up their sleeve.
I'm also really excited to see Breeze on Diablo. I talked to him just 2 days ago a lot about Diablo, and he said he really loves to play the hero. He wants to play the hero. He's very proud also of his tint here, the green color. That was a point that he highlighted quite a bit. and he said he wants to play it, but he just doesn't fit all that often into their comps. Now he has an opportunity to showcase once again one of his best heroes here, but Roll20, they have also a big tank killer in the form of Tychus.
Hulk Diablo, I will say, Breeze was the first member to actually make Devil's Due seem worth it to me. He pulled it off so well in the HGC that I started playing that actual talent because of how strong he makes it look. Breeze, going in, diving here on Prismat. He'll take some damage and retreat, but you see the fierceness here from Breeze. He's ready to go in.
Yeah, and also, he's not the only one, especially when we look at Shrimpy. Just a few days ago in scrims, he is just completely popping off on Li Ming when he gets an opportunity. And they were at high spirits coming into the studio here. They were just laughing the entire time, singing, and they have happy smiles on their faces. But Roll20 is going to try and wipe those away.
On the other side, yeah, Roll20, before walking in here, I saw Fnatic being happy, cheery, talking to multiple members, yourself as well. Roll20 was in this state of almost excitement, but were very reclusive.
Yeah.
They were focused on today's match.
Glowing in particular, the entire time, earbuds in and the eyes on the prize the entire time. Now, on the other hand, they find themselves in a spot where Fnatic is trying to be aggressive on the map. Quacknik's taking quite a bit of damage as Roll20 is looking to aim for a good position on that first shrine that's going to activate in just a few seconds.
And there's been aggression from both sides here, and yet no kill yet. Both teams on point today, looking for the wins here in day 3 of the mid-season brawl. The first shrine activating. We'll have it here in the middle. And we're going to see how Diablo in particular is going to handle this situation.
Fnatic was also very so much respecting Roll20 when we talked with them about this match in particular. I said, we have to be careful here. They might have something prepared for us. They're really trying to not show anything just yet. So Fnatic is going to be very cautious here. And let's see how this first shrine pans out. So far, Fnatic has a slight lead when it comes to the minion count.
That's right, 19-6 at the moment. A big root comes out. Yoda will dive forward, bring out a smite. I'm watching Justin here. Will he go in for an engage? Can he lock down Quacknik's in particular and get his team put in a scenario where they can start to burn down those frontliners?
A little 4 talents are in play. We have the Bed of Barbs taken. So, but at the top, Glorong finds himself in trouble and gets taken out by Smexy. Nice kill from Fnatic, taking the 5 versus 4 advantage here as they focus once again on the shrine, only 5 minions away from the first Punisher.
And it's very typical of Roll20. Typically during objectives, they'll peel somebody off to try and soak and get an experience lead. Fnatic, realizing this, took 2 members and moved in for an engagement when Genji overstepped and got the kill. Nice adaptation here by Fnatic, and now they get the first Punisher. They push down the middle, and they have 4 people here pushing in.
Roll20 baiting the Punisher over the wall, making sure that they're not suffering too much damage just yet, but Fnatic went through the entire towers and wall, and Breeze is once again going in, going deep, going for Justin.
Justin will be able to get out here. Glorong goes in to try and grab the attention of the opponents, but the fort already down to half health as Fnatic burns it down pretty quickly, and they have a slight experience lead.
It was actually quite a bit of value that Fnatic got with the first Punisher. They destroyed the entire wall, they nearly destroyed the inner tower, and they also got rid of the fountain, which is going to take away from the lane sustain that Roll20 is now having on the mid lane.
I mean, that was a good play by Fnatic, simply because of, look at the assassin for Roll20. It's Genji and it's Tychus. These aren't dealers that are going to really destroy your front line right away. Tychus with the minigun can be helpful, but Fnatic taking that gray main pressure that he has so early from 1 to 9, just being so powerful, is able to burn down that fort. So nice heads-up play by Fnatic, and they continue to keep rotating and take mercs.
And one of the things that has been Roll20's mind now is that combo on level 20, of course, with the Void Prison Apocalypse follow-up. We have seen Lightning Breath on this map as well, but the combo could be devastating as once again Fnatic is moving in, trying to go for Tychus here. They're trying to invade the camp, and Tychus is low, but so is Breeze.
Prismat trying to bring out the damage with the overkill. Breeze low on health, finally does fall, but 3 members are low on health at the same time. We do have the root on the right side, but Fnatic with the invade will take 3 members out. Shrimpy, as you mentioned, going off. Wubby hoping to get Buds, but Buds gets the safety.
Shrimpy and Wubby both looking for Malfurion here. You can see the reset coming in on the side of Li Ming, and just kill after kill. Breeze sacrificing himself. They invade the camp. The first kill against Tychus, but Diablo falling shortly after as Justin is about to be taken out. And thanks to the reset, Shrimpy trying to drive the momentum towards Malfurion, but neither him nor Wubby are able to close the gap. So Malf escapes, but still a very solid trade for the European team.
Yeah, Roll20 grouping pretty heavily for that cocktail and the cleave there from Grayman in particular is what put them down to such low health. Fnatic now a level ahead and on their way to level 9 already. A 4 dead in the middle and a shrine activated in the bottom. Roll20 has to make a play soon.
We currently have also on level 7 Guardian of Ancient Kings taken from Uther. There was a lot of talk about the talent. In this case, of course, there's the roots and also the stuns, especially on the side of a Nubarak that can proc it. And then you have that extra 75 armor, and that, of course, can really save a hero that finds himself in a bit of trouble. It also is going to make it incredibly difficult to take down Diablo later on, especially when he's stacked on 100 souls. You've been talking about Devil Stew as a level 1 talent. If he pre-taps before a fight, that's basically a double health bar.
It's going to be hard here for Roll20, but they're taking steps to get to level 10. They grab the mercenaries in the top right corner to push in. They're trying to soak as many lanes as they can. They just gave up the objective. They can't afford to lose another team fight at this moment, and they are aware of it. So Roll20 spreading out as much as they can and are moving towards 10. But problem is, Fnatic is hitting 10 right now.
Fnatic delayed the Punisher just a bit so that they can hit level 10 together with the Punisher, and they will move through that bot lane. But up at the top, we still have Greymane and Zeratul. Down here, on the other hand, Shrimpy and Smexy are staying just outside of the range. They go in for a bit of extra damage against Justin, and Fnatic is not really getting too much out of this just yet. They still have Soak on the lanes. They don't get the kills against either Genji or Tyrael.
Yeah, Tyrael was the main focus there, but with Genji on the side, he was scattered out. But this has bought a lot of time for Roll20 to move towards that level 10. They will lose the fort in the process, but so far, the safety that they've employed here for the last couple of minutes has helped them get back in this game. Once they get to 10, I expect to see some more aggression.
It's actually pretty cool how that split worked out for Fnatic. With the level 10s, they could have tried to just force an engage at that bot lane. They're forcing the engage at the top now and go for Yoda, but he barely escapes here. Breeze, on the other hand, gets body blocked for a bit longer, but is able to move out as the Nubarak is not in range yet.
Oh, if 10 was available there, Glarong would have gone in on Breeze
yeah.
and helped to get those kills, especially with Justin on the rotation over. There is Cocoon. Watch out here for the stuns. Justin trying to zone out multiple members in the top left corner, while Wubby comes in from the side. The Void Prison will stop the engage.
Here comes the Apocalypse. They go for it. Tyger's trying to pop his ult, and Sank is already on the ground. Smexy in trouble, and he falls. Uther is dead as Glorong pops the Dragon Blade and goes for the kill.
Roll20 getting a kill there, and with Wubby low on mana, it looks like Fnatic's going to need to pull away from the fight, and they do. Roll20 using a big wobble comb there to only get one kill, but still enough here to help get them experience and map control. They invade to grab mercenaries to push in the middle lane.
Really well done by Roll20 here, winning that fight and now trying to carry the momentum, stealing the mercenary camp away. They can then safely move back to their own, and in the meantime we still have up to the top lane Tyrael in range for the experience gain. And if you look at XP overall, Roll20 not even an entire level behind at this point. Actually pretty impressive considering that Fnatic, with that triple split around the second Punisher, were not only able to take down the second fort, but also established a very solid lead thanks to them soaking every single lane.
What I really liked about Roll20 in that engagement earlier on the top side is they forced it right away the moment they hit 10. That way, whenever the next Shrine phase comes up, about halfway through the Shrine phase, all their cooldowns will be up to go in for another all-in engage. If they can get 2 to 3 kills, they'll be able to take away the Shrine. But for now, with Fnatic dealing with the Shrine in the top in the next 2 seconds, they should be able to get an early lead here and make sure not to get caught by that combo.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. At this point, they need to wait, Roll20 that is, for their cooldowns, and they still have another 20 seconds for Sanctification and also, of course, the Odin on Tychus. We're seeing at the bot lane, Roll20 apparently thinking about just simply pushing through the lane. We have Tychus alone going through the wall, and Fnatic is waiting for the rotation. They are thinking about forcing a fight here on level 13 talents.
13's not quite here yet. Wait for a couple more minions, and then they'll have that talent advantage. There it is. It does connect, and they will defend against the push from Roll20 while Wubby stays in the top and starts clearing.
Really well done here. Keeping Wubby to the top, focusing on the objective, but realizing that there is a chance that Roll20 stays at the bot lane, tries to push through the fort, so they rotate down, wait to see if they can maybe catch someone on the rotation, and they protect the fort, and now it's still this little battle that we have in the mid lane, while Wubby still gets value up at the top of the Zeratul, taking down minions.
While I liked Fnatic's rotation, I liked Roll20 forcing this initiation. By putting him in the bottom, Roll20 said, I either take a fort from you guys, or I slow down your ability to grab the Shrine, which gets me to 13. Now Roll20 is at 13, has full heroics, and they're going for the engage. Glorong jumps in.
Glorong going in up at the front, Justin already there, trying to zone the opponent and always ready for another stun.
Yoda on the side here, if he needs to, he can drop the Eldruin and go for Sync. Here he is.
With a stun, tries to go for Yoda. Yoda jumps out though.
Smexy on the side here, also getting hit with Cocoon, will be bowed out here by his teammates.
Immediately Liming with the Disintegrate. Cocoon not an issue anymore, but we have Void Prison back online.
Breeze dives in, hits him against the wall. Nubarak's able to get on out. out.
Justing moves back. The stun from Smexy.
The VP coming out. They're setting up. Here's the APOC.
APOC goes in and immediately the triple quad stun and the double kill as Genji and Tyrael both fall. Breeze moves in, stuns on the Nubarok and takes him down. It's a triple as Fnatic falls back onto the shrine.
And Smexy barely living. Look at Wubby on the right side. He wants more. He goes in. Can he get the kill? No, not enough here. Quacknix getting a little bit greedy there, diving under a 4, unable to get the kill, but the shrine goes to Fnatic.
The adrenaline definitely pumping as Tychus barely escapes, but look at the combo right here.
Oh gosh, it's so beautiful. The Void Prison, the Apocalypse. There it is, the damage coming in. Smexy earlier using the Divine Storm. Justing eventually gets caught out there on the right side with Schwimpy going in. Multiple kills here, and Fnatic loving where they're at right now.
Smexy barely surviving on Uther, but he moves back, and now with full force they are focusing on the top lane. Wubby, on the other hand, still between the mid and the top, looking for an opportunity to maybe dive that back line.
Yes, Wubby sharking around. The scouting drill will slow him down. Breeze goes forward. Gonna have the immediate impale. Nice job there. Sanctification here from Roll20, keeping them alive, but the Punisher continues the chase. He's gonna jump in. Bud's getting caught. Here comes Quacknix.
Yoda in a bit of trouble as Li Ming is firing away from the back line. Once again, the Cocoon on the ground and immediately taken down by Fnatic.
20 more seconds for Void Prison. Roll20 has some time here to help out with the fights. We're gonna have Dragon Blade up in a couple seconds, but they are still missing important heroics.
Fnatic opening the wall, trying to look for an opportunity to follow up on the Punisher stun.
All right, I'm watching Roll20 here. They get the defense, and Fnatic will continue the rotations. They head here to middle. There's no ammo, but 16 connects for them here. Roll20 continues to be behind.
A 2-level lead, all forts taken out. Breeze once again moving in, goes for the overpower, and there's the stun from Uther and the kill against Tyrael.
Roll20 fighting behind a talented here, and Tyrael falling here. Void Prison as well. We have some kind of hold happening here from Genji, but he gets hit by the APOC too. Here comes the Twilight Dream. Is it enough? Roll20 is fighting back. They get a kill on Uther, but they cost here with the Nubarak.
Smexy down, but the Nubarak falls, and still everybody low. The Li Ming combo nearly taking Bud's down, but Malfurion escapes as Prismaticism is still firing away on the Odin, trying to see if he can maybe get a long distance kills, but not so much.
2-for-1 trade overall, so Roll20 with that engage. They at least stop the push here from Fnatic to break open that wall in the middle. So it's a trade they actually don't mind taking. They get some experience, and they have their teammates spawning out.
Let's just look at this map for a moment. We have Fnatic currently with every single fort still on the map. They have taken 3 forts down already, a 2-level lead for them with a talent advantage. Quest talents completed, as we can see right here, for Uther with a wave of light. Also, the Incendiary Elixir on the side of Greymane. Fnatic finds himself in a very dominant spot. Breeze on his Diablo is having a huge impact, and the combo with Void Prison and then the Apocalypse is doing so much for Fnatic in these fights, especially, of course, the last one that we saw at the top where 4 heroes were stunned out by the Apocalypse.
I mean, you speak about Breeze, but I want to speak about Justing. Multiple engages have happened here from Breeze, but every single time a Nubarak is on point with these impales to make sure to slow them down. Only 3 or 4 combos have actually came through for Fnatic. Granted, that's been enough for them to get the lead, but still, a Nubarak is holding 10 here.
The good thing for Roll20 is really that in just another 20 seconds they will hit level 16. So they should be able to get enough experience to fight for the next objective. And it's one of the few fights that is still available to them. They have 1-2 good team fights here, but not if they lose Glorong now. And here come the stuns.
Dragon Blade comes out. He's easy to escape. Buds with the heal, but Wubby comes in with the cleave to secure the kill. And Glorong is down.
Big blow. Really big blow against Roll20 now. They find themselves again in a 4 versus 5. A very disadvantageous situation for them as we see Fnatic move towards the shrine, and this should be another Punisher. It's another 25 seconds until Glowing is going to be back to business.
Yeah, that really hurts. Roll20, all they can do here is keep lanes pushed out, particularly in the middle and the top, but they're getting caught as Breeze comes in and slams Tychus against the wall.
Breeze with no mercy. The combo, the APOC, and it's a double kill. It's a triple. And Nubarak is down. Great engage from Fnatic. Breeze on his Diablo moving in and just overpowering everybody here, slamming Tychus into the wall, taking him down, and then the APOC follow up with another double kill. Staggered deaths here on the side of Roll20, and Fnatic is carrying that momentum train towards the keep on the bot lane.
Especially when they have an extra 20-25 seconds. Oh no,
oh my
Buds,
God.
you have overstepped. Breeze goes in, puts him against a keep. This keep is going down, and staggering deaths is becoming a major problem for Roll20 in the last minute and a half.
Breeze once again showcasing why he's the best tank in Europe, goes in and punishes his opponent. Malfurion just stepping out of the zone for a second. That's all that Diablo needs. That's another kill. And this opens up a win condition. This Shrine is on the bottom lane, and there's no keep to stop it anymore.
And Fnatic, they have a couple choices here. They can clear as many as they would like in terms of this actual Punisher, but set up for getting level 20. Look at them. They're a 19 and a third here. Towards level 20, they soak up the top lane, the middle lane, and the bottom lane. They're using Zeratul in particular. They could get 20 while that push is coming in. And Roll20 might be around level 17, 17 and a half tops. Fnatic's in a really good spot here to start working on ending the game.
Roll20 needs to force a really good fight. If they can somehow get a good engage with the Cocoon on a Nubrak, dive in with a Tyrael, with a Genji, drop a good Sanct and take a target down, that might really help them. But the big problem, as you said, is not only the Punisher, it's also the level 20 that is a threat. And Fnatic is playing incredibly slow. They are just soaking the lanes at the top with Zeratul. They soak the middle, they take the long ways, playing it super safe, no direct rotations. All they're trying to do here is wait for level 20 and get the Punisher with it. They're a sliver away in experience. They know that the waves down to the bot lane are going to give them 20. They poke into the shops as well. They are covering all the bases at this point.
Yeah, they even have top lane pushing here too, so that mercenary camp can start to break down that keep at the same time. Roll20 is in a really hard spot where they're being pinched from multiple sides here. Can they get an engage before it even 20 even connects? It's not looking like it.
They're pinging the tower. They want the experience here. They're pinging the tower. They want the 20, and they're going to get it. At this point, they're moving in already. Here it is. Storm Talons on the side of Fnatic as they go in. They go for Glorok. He's barely able to get away. Pops the Dragon Blade. Tries to turn around with the Cocoon on the ground, but there's the Void.
Here comes the Apocalypse. Breeze already done this coming before, and it connects on 4 members. Bud's low on health, will use Ice Block, but already Tyrael, a Nubrak, and now Malfurion have fallen.
He gets the silence off, but it's not enough. A quad kill as Fnatic moves in. 18 kills against 3. A 3-level lead as Fnatic is moving to the core and takes game number 1 against Roll20.
Fnatic earning another victory here, and I have to ask you, Calidor, is it possible for Breeze not to play any of the warriors in the game? Is that a possibility?
I mean, he is hands down the best warrior we currently have in Europe, I'd say, and Fnatic is looking really solid in this first game. It just felt like there was nothing really against the combo with the Apoc and the Void Prison, and Breeze also, outside of the combo, always found a target for his stuns, and he had the perfect positioning here. It felt sometimes that Roll20 had a bit of a problem positioning their heroes outside of potential double stuns on the side of Breeze, and they always followed up with a Li Ming combo, with Greymane, and that netted them kill after kill.
Coordination and timing just a little bit too on point there. Signification was never actually used to stop that entire combo from occurring as Tyrael was in the Void Prisons. It was very, very difficult, but I'm sure the Concave has some words about that game.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Game 1 in the books. Fnatic does take it with a pretty significant level lead there, but we could hear the camp of Roll20 very enthused in that game, Gilly. Unfortunately, they weren't able to prevail, but they made a meal out of it.
Yeah, it all really came down to the Wombo combo and the double potentials, whether it was off of Divine Storm or Void Prison with Apoc. If somehow Roll20 were able to get through that with either a good Twilight Dream afterward or a Sanctification that was well-timed, and they were able to get through it and even get picks a couple of times, but it was very textbook of what happens when you get that far behind on Infernal Shrines.
Yeah, there was some good execution there coming out from Fnatic on those Wombo combos, Jay How.
It almost felt like they just kind of took what Roll20 likes to do as well. Like the old Diablo, let's combo off something, whether it's Medivh, whether it's Zeratul, and it was used against them. So they knew what to do. And it actually worked the first time around. Uther, I think the placement was a little bit off when he came up. And so the Sanctification the first time, but every time after that was far more devastating combo there from Fnatic.
I believe, Dread, you do have some replays.
I do.
Plural to show us.
Replays. Yeah, and so the first one is exactly that moment you were referring to, J-House. So it starts out with the Cocoon up on top. Teammate is just looking to be able to get the isolation, find themselves a pick, and it's on to the Uther. Thankfully, we find ourselves a Wubby who is going to drop the Void. So now we are going to stop this for a moment and look at the circumstances that we actually find ourselves in here. For Fnatic on the left-hand side, the most important thing into the Void, the 2 targets going to be stuck into here, is one is the Malfurion, and so we're going to keep playing through and take a minute to appreciate the fact that as this goes down, watch that pre-cleanse, and we're going to stop. Right here, Yoda finds himself pre-cleanse. That was right immediately once the Void Prison drops, he gets himself a pre-cleanse, which that is onto Ethereal. You know the Divine Storm is just begging to come out after this Apocalypse combo, so as we play through here, the Sanctification is dropped immediately, completely negating Smexy's Divine Storm. That is 3 dead members of Roll20 if the pre-cleanse of Bud is not immediate. And that was what we were talking about before as we just watched the rest of this amazing fight, is you have to have one of those tools to deal with the Void outside of the Void, otherwise you were never going to stand a chance. Now, and this one, a nice opener and initiation coming out from Fnatic, but we're going to play it through. I just want to highlight Smexy. Specifically, great use of his Benediction to get the initial stun onto the Sanctification, follow-up, and then perfectly timing his Divine Storm to align it with Breeze's APOC. There was no moment there could be a Sanctification use Noel Druin's might to be able to nope out. He single-handedly enabled 2 more kills for his team, and that was legitimately the beginning of the end for Roll20.
2 support plays being highlighted by
Imagine
Dread.
that.
Who would have thought such a thing?
Actually, this is conspiracy. I'd rather have J-How, but no, they were good plays. They were good plays.
They were very good plays.
Yeah, very good indeed. There were a lot of combos that continued on through there, but there were no opportunities to actually get those kinds of pre-cleanses. We listened to them. They were like, pre-cleanse, 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 and they were hoping for it, but absolutely no quarter given.
I have a term for that moment in the video game. Whenever you just have a wombo composition, and Gilly knows it very well. If you have a wombo combo composition, you ended up getting mass void. The only thing you can do, Gilly, is
hands off the keyboard.
Very much. There is nothing you can do to alter. There is no level outplay. You are just accept your fate, because the wombo combo, if done right, is never going to fail in those circumstances.
But geez, I loved seeing that Buds was even willing to say, I'm not even going to try to move. I know if I save you, if I give you the cleanse, you will save me in turn. That was pretty cool to see, especially for a team that we've known has good synergy and is still building that synergy against a team with arguably the best synergy as a 5-man unit.
All right, second map, Battlefield.